Coming up in this episode of Southern Newsweek, a Queenstown class gains some impressive cooking skills, an international fighting force descends upon the West Coast, and the public library in Invercargill enlists the assistance of a superhero. Hello, I'm Melissa Barton. A class of Year 7 pupils in Queenstown are proving to adults that eating healthy and cooking delicious recipes is possible. A remarkable primary food tech class has joined forces with one of the world's most best-known hotels to raise awareness for healthy eating. Mina Amso went along to a cooking class to find out more.
The Year 7 food tech class at Remarkable's primary school were busy baking some very delicious sweet dishes this week.
It's really fun and it's really cool thing to be doing at school instead of just normal schoolwork.
Food tech teacher Trudy Boniface says the kids are proud of what they achieve.
Today is their very first challenge for the year for these guys. This is their first time at food tech. And so we set the challenge that they had to make something out of a seasonal fruit or a vegetable.
She says it's amazing to see who starts to shine.
The kids that you think are quite quiet and are quite reserved probably during class, when they're given the role of a head chef, they take it so seriously.
Like his group made strawberry rhubarb crumble.
Sometimes we want to have a smoothie week, and then other times we're just going to have to be given like wheat mixing, so you're just learning all these different foods, and you're not always cooking either.
And half an hour later, the crumble was ready for head chefs and judges to taste. I get to try this gorgeous strawberry and rhubarb crumble. It is gluten-free, egg-free, butter-free and nut-free.
It was homemade.
Another amazing. Boniface says part of pupils' homework is to cook at home.
Often I get emails from mums and dads saying just how grateful they are that their kids have had a go.
But in class, pupils learn about food safety, food storage and using kitchen utensils correctly. She teaches her class about sugar and salt content in pre-packed food and drinks.
We look at the food packets, the backs of them, and what's actually in what they think is a healthy food. And that's really interesting because we've got Wheat Bix, we've got Cocoa Pops packets, all sorts of different packets, hundreds of packets that the kids look at, and then they go home and make some choices too, and encourage mum and dad to do a bit of a cooking shop.
Pupils also get the chance to learn from the best. A master chef class on how to cook eggs with Hilton executive chef Frederic Monnier. Monnier says more kids are actually willing to learn how to cook.
That's always fun. 6 years been doing that, and it's amazing. Yeah. Every week it's a good group to come.
Why do you do it?
Just for the kids to learn something. I think it's good for the kids to engage with food. I think the young generation sometimes feel they're not really cooking or know a lot about cooking. So just to teach them very, very basic, simple things that they can recreate at home and start enjoying cooking at home,
Frederick and I really stress to the kids about eating healthy, using vegetables that are in season, fruits that are in season, making simple recipes so that they can then go home and try them.
Cooking classes will continue until the end of the year. Mina Amso this Saturday.
Students from Invercargill's Southern Institute of Technology held a free animal wellness clinic last week to gain some hands-on experience before graduating. The vet nursing students invited people to bring their animals in for a full free checkup. Sharon Rees has more.
There were some anxious cats, excitable dogs, and even some fluffy rabbits at SIT today, and they were being given the full treatment. As these vet nursing students approach graduation, they've decided to have some one-on-one time with their furry friends.
We're running a wellness clinic for cats, dogs, bunnies. We're basically just checking the general health of the animals, going over, seeing if we can find any problems and discussing them with the vet and getting the vet to actually diagnose them.
Students have been preparing for the event over the past 6 months to know exactly what to look for in a checkup and to gain the experience of dealing with animals and their owners.
We learn more hands-on, more experience dealing with animals and clients, seeing actual problems and finding out more about them.
Animals went to different stations for their checkups, and if any issues were found, they were directed to the on-site vet for further examination. But with plenty of pats and animal treats on tap, it was difficult to tell if it was the animals or the students enjoying themselves the most. Sharon Rees, The South Today.
More than 2,000 military troops descended upon Greymouth as part of Exercise Southern Katipo. The South Today caught up with one of their companies as they advanced through the Buller area.
Southern Katipo is New Zealand's largest military exercise, and this year 13 nations from around the Pacific are taking part, and Lieutenant Colonel Tim Tuatini said that his company reflected the South Pacific.
This company is actually a very interesting company. This is the Southwest Pacific Company. So it's a mix of Southwest Pacific nations, Fiji, Tonga, and also Papua New Guinea, and obviously New Zealanders. So they're split in half. We have half of them here in Runanga, where they are providing what we would call a block, and they're waiting to go forward into Greymouth when they get the right orders.
Lieutenant Adrian Langford suggested they were getting close to taking the town of Greymouth.
My main role is with the Role 2 team, based in the medical team as a nursing officer, and we are based mostly at Westport. For the last few days I've been pushed forward to a team through to near Greymouth, just supporting one of the companies that is pushed forward through to secure Greymouth on the way through.
The military exercise has seen them all over the northern South Island.
It's now towards the end of our exercise. We started off in the middle of October over on the east coast, in and around Blenheim and Ward and Picton, where we had a number of activities up there working with other government agencies and the communities over there. We've now moved across to the west coast here from Westport, heading our way down through Reefton, here in Runanga and down towards Greymouth.
Southern Katipo continues on through next week. Rudy Adrian, The South Today.
Sue Warner-Cook is Dunedin's very own bird lady. Reusable Bone visited the feathered residents at her St Kilda home and put the cat among the pigeons.
When it comes to fame and glory, Sue Warner-Cook believes a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. I'm Reusable Bone, here with 32-year-old cockatoo Opal. He's just one of the many avian residents at St Kilda.
I've always loved birds and always had birds, and it just grew from keeping birds to breeding them and hand-raising budgies and birds for people.
Cook has helped hundreds of birds and has had a passion for all things feathery since moving to New Zealand from America as a young girl. She cares for injured and distressed birds around the clock, nursing them back to health with her son Sean from their St Kilda home, which is currently shared with blackbirds, roosters, parakeets, ducks and of course cockatoos.
And we have to make sure to keep the food on the little tip and bit into his mouth like the mama bird. Yeah,
that's brilliant.
You get quite connected to them.
Cook's bird whispering abilities have become widely known, and she gets calls for help from all over the region whenever there's a bird in distress.
There was a notice on Facebook that there was a mother duck and her ducklings crossing the road on the Green Island motorway. A lady went through there 20 minutes later, and there was a mum duck with 4 ducklings. 3 had been hit by a car, and there was one little duckling that couldn't get up the curb. So she stopped in the middle of the motorway, she pulled over and helped this wee duck up, but the mother and her babies had taken off and she didn't know where she was, so she took her in and found me, and then I ended up with her.
She knows just how to care for God's smallest creatures. These ducklings were a recent rescue, and she has another 2 on the way from the SPCA who frequently request her services. Most of the birds she helps end up being reintroduced into the wild. This fledgling blackbird is back in the pink and will be released over the Botanic Gardens on Wednesday. Reusable Bone, The South Today.
The Invercargill City Libraries and Archives staff are at it again with a new video for their social media.
They may not be the real planeteers, but they still think saving our planet is the thing to do, and they're following the philosophy of television's Captain Planet as they transition the Invercargill City Library into a more eco-friendly place.
We typically gave out plastic bags to customers to take their books away, and so we're doing a real push for our the reusable bags that we've got. So we've got some canvas bags with the library logo and everything on that, and this month they're selling for $1 as well, and we've removed all the plastic bags, so we're just trying to really encourage that eco-friendly message.
And to ensure it's a smooth transition, the librarians have called on Captain Planet himself for their latest social media video.
We're jumping back to Captain Planet, who was this environmental warrior from the 80s, I believe, and he basically flew around cleaning up oil spills and throwing litter in the bin. So we're taking on him, and we've got him coming into the Invercargill Library. So yeah, our IT guy Ben, he is going to be our Captain Planet, and basically we summon him to basically get this new message across in hopefully quite a quirky way.
Captain Planet was running, sliding and dancing his way around the library yesterday to educate the world about the importance of being environmentally friendly. Chamberlain says their recent viral post has pushed them to be more creative in their social media posts, which helps to spread the message.
We've always tried to do it in an interesting way, but I think being aware of the fact that we do have a few more viewers and things like that, and we've sort of gained this reputation as being quite quirky, I think it's made it certainly interesting to keep pushing that, and it's sort of been good that it's been well received.
Reusable library bags are available for $1 throughout November, and those who want to help need to remember one thing.
The power is yours.
Sharon Rees, The South Today.
Coming up after the break, thousands turn up to celebrate craft beer and wild foods, and Highlands Motorsport Park holds its last GT race. Welcome back. Over 6,000 people turned up to the Forsyth Bar Stadium last weekend for the Dunedin Craft Beer and Food Festival. The South Today joined the crowd to find out more.
A huge crowd enjoyed wild foods and craft beer under the shelter of the Forsyth Bar Stadium roof on Saturday. With live music plus lots of activities, those who attended were having a good time.
It's a fun day out. Yeah. I've been to 4 of them. This is the best one yet. So yeah. It's a good time.
Event manager Jason Schroeder said this year more than ever was tailored to the fans of craft beer and food.
We're lucky in that we can have it in a all-weather stadium with a roof, which helps definitely. But it's also, I guess, the balance of kind of showcasing, the really diverse range of beers, but also in a really community-focused event through like the range of artists we have that we kind of changed this year to really focus on what our demographic is.
First prize for home brew was awarded to amateur brewer Harvey Kane for his homemade Russian Imperial Stout.
I started home brewing 18 months ago. Didn't have much cash, started getting into the kits from the supermarket, did 2 of those and then discovered all grain brewing and just loved it with a passion, just really got into it and been thoroughly enjoying it ever since.
Kane said that home brewing appealed to his other interests.
But yeah, mostly I enjoy crafting things. I make a nice ciabatta bread as well, so I enjoy creating things from scratch, and creating beer from scratch is as good as it gets. The hobby also fits in with things like electronics, which I also enjoy doing. So you're always making temperature controllers and fun things like that. So it's just a great hobby, and I just really enjoy it.
Various wild foods and over 400 varieties of beer, cider and wine were on offer on the day. Rudy Adrian, The South Today.
Items on display are being changed at Toitū Otago Settlers Museum to keep pace with the times. Some of the 20th century displays have been retired to make way for the future.
Visitors to Toitū Otago Settlers Museum were today experiencing the changing face of Dunedin. Some items in the object wall and food-related timeline display have been shelved. Curator Peter Reid says the 20th century items that were once a staple of Dunedin life are now a trip down memory lane.
Things like the tea companies having moved production away, and it was a sort of a topical thing too with what's been going on with Cadbury's.
The changes also reflect the disappearing local icons that have come and gone, including once household names like DIC, Arthur Barnett and Tiger Tea, and significant buildings fallen to the march of progress.
And this picture in particular is one of my favourites. It's an aerial view of the exchange area, the stock exchange building having gone here, the Sire Goods building having gone here. So this is where the Dowling Street car park is now. This building here, the AMP building, in the process of being demolished.
The revamp is the biggest single change at the gallery since the museum reopened to the public in early December 2012 after a $37 million redevelopment. Roselle LeBone, The South Today.
Cromwell's annual endurance motor race was held last weekend. The South Today joined the crowds to watch some very pricey vehicles speed around the track.
Audis, Mercedes-Benz and McLarens were all lined up to duel it out for 501 kilometres around the Highlands Motorsport Park track in Cromwell on Saturday. Each car in this endurance race required 2 drivers taking turns, plus a Le Mans-style run by the drivers at the beginning of the race. Chief Operating Officer Josie Spillane was enthusiastic about the occasion.
We opened the park officially in 2013 with this, our marquee event, and to be standing here 5 years on celebrating again some of the most incredible racing that you can see in New Zealand has just been phenomenal.
As always with motor racing, some cars exit the track in disgrace. Race contenders Tim Miles and Jackson Evans had their white Audi taken out of the race after a mishap ripped the tyre from the right rear wheel.
You see Jackson Evans losing a tyre going under the bridge, and that robbed him of his championship. Like, that is true heartbreak material.
As the race went on and on, the public could inspect some other privately owned sports cars on display, including some very rare classics. The duo of Peter Hackett and Dominic Story ended up in the lead with their black Mercedes-Benz, only to have suspension problems with a mere 5 laps to go. As a result, Saturday's win went to the team of Max Twigg and Tony Diliberto in their green Mercedes-Benz. Spillane said this was the last year the park would hold an Australian Grand Tourer race.
We've created a fantastic reputation for delivering an event that you can't see anywhere else. Aussie GTs have put that stake in the ground for us. They've assisted us with setting the level of entertainment that we want to deliver to people. But now we want to spend the time investing in our Kiwi stars in the sport in New Zealand and really elevating some of these amazing drivers that we have here in New Zealand and make them the heroes of our show.
The racetrack looks set to see plenty more endurance races in the future, though no longer with Grand Tourer race cars. Rudy Adrian, The South Today.
Queenstown people should be able to catch a fully electric taxi by the end of this month. But that's not all. By early next year, the town will have its first electric vehicle fast charge unit.
Queenstown-based Green Cabs is about to turn over a new leaf. Its first fully electric taxi is due before the end of the month. And as well, ChargeNet is preparing to install Queenstown's first electric vehicle fast charger outside Pack and Save in Frankton.
We were hoping to get it in before Christmas, but it's looking January, February-ish.
Green Cab's area manager Martin Emmett says Queenstown will be the second location in New Zealand after Wellington to have a green cab that is 100% electric powered. And he says having the new fast electric car charger is a game changer for his company.
You know, they can average anywhere between 250 to 350, 400 kilometres in a shift. The range of an electric vehicle realistically is only about 200. So it gives them the peace of mind.
It could take an electric vehicle 10 minutes to top up and up to 25 minutes to recharge, compared to 11 or 12 hours when plugged into a conventional 3-pin plug socket. Green Cab driver Denis Kozovic says he's open to upgrading his hybrids in the near future.
I would say in 2-3 years the cost of the car will be paid off by the amount of money we save on petrol, not to pay for petrol.
And how happy are you with the new charger next to Back and Save?
Oh, it would be great.
The cost of using the fast charger will depend on the kilometres travelled and the car model. Electric vehicle owner and mum Simone Bray says Fast Charger will encourage people with electric vehicles to come to Queenstown. She says electric vehicles are the way of the future.
From an eco point of view, alongside the cost savings, I used to spend about $70 a week on fuel just to run the children to school and back. And now I spend about $45 a month on power.
Greencab's 2015 Nissan Leaf X is expected to be on the road by the end of the month, and an electric fast charger estimated to cost up to $100,000 will be fully accessible at Pack and Save early next year. Mina Amso, The South Today.
Coming up after the break, more rock gets blasted off Nevis Bluff and people get a chance to donate gifts for underprivileged children. Welcome back. Contractors used explosives during the week to loosen rock on the Nevis Bluff above State Highway 6 between Cromwell and Queenstown. The blasting work is part of the New Zealand Transport Agency's regular safety routine. Mina Amso reports.
Blasting the Nevis Bluff 120 metres above State Highway 6 is no quick task. The work done by Fulton Hogan contractors took an hour to complete, holding up traffic for obvious safety reasons. Then a helicopter dropped water on the bluff to wash away loose debris. The work is part of an ongoing safety and monitoring routine by New Zealand Transport Agency, which also involves abseil inspection, rock scaling and removing of loose debris and unstable rocks. NZTA is advising motorists to allow an extra 10 minutes for travel between Cromwell and Queenstown. The rock stabilisation work started over 2 weeks ago and continues until the end of the month. Mina Amso, The South Today.
The reopening of Christchurch Harbour has achieved a major milestone in the rebuild after last year's destructive earthquake. The South Today was present at this Tuesday's opening ceremony.
Last November, a magnitude 7.8 earthquake rocked Kaikoura, destroying much of the harbour. Extensive construction efforts have resulted in the harbour being reopened exactly a year after the quake. Up to now, Whale Watch, who are a major contributor to Kaikoura's tourist economy, could only launch one boat from a trailer. They now expect to have all 4 boats in operation by next week. At yesterday's ceremony, Kaikoura District Council Chief Executive Angela Oosthuizen said that many of Kaikoura's businesses had suffered from isolation after the quake, and the rebuild of the harbour was a very positive step forward.
We've achieved a lot in terms of the milestones. We had a really productive recovery team dealing to the recovery aspects of the earthquake. And today has been a really good day in the sense that it's a year on and none of us thought that the harbour would be open today. And it's an amazing feat that we've actually got the harbour open and it's been excavated and it's now fully usable by the operators.
Mayor Winston Gray said once the road north was reopened, things would improve further.
We're waiting for that road to open. People are hanging out for that. We're in a tough spot now, probably getting into that. Some of the insurance, business insurance, interruption insurance is probably nearing an end as of today. A lot of that's 12 months. So looking forward to the road opening. So been tough, but not everywhere across the board. The service industries to the roads, the engineering, etc., they've had a great, they're having a great run. The garages, some of the accommodation, sort of supplying to the work group that are doing the road, the Nectar group. So it's a mixed bag really.
South Bay locals Sharon Vickers and June Blacker were positive about the way the town was recovering from the destruction.
A little bit like the Christchurch earthquakes that brought everybody together, and it has here. We've met a lot of new friends, haven't we?
We have, and things have been getting fixed, settled a lot quicker
in Christchurch, yeah,
which is good.
But this is paradise.
It is.
So welcome to paradise. Come and see us sometime.
The New Zealand Transport Agency is committed to having State Highway 1 open by December the 15th. making Kaikoura's next rebuild milestone not that far away. Rudy Adrian, The South Today.
A Dunedin franchise department store began decking the halls today with the launch of its wishing tree. People are being asked to leave presents at the base of the tree as organisers hope to pass on more than 4,000 presents to needy families.
Singers from Fairfield School entertained onlookers at the launch of Kmart's Wishing Tree. The project has run in Dunedin for a number of years, and for the last 12 of these, Dawn Barnes has driven the sleigh and says this year, especially in light of recent events, they're looking to free the joy.
Aiming for the 4,000 mark, and you know, with the things are so tight, like with Cadbury people knowing that they're going to be losing their work and things like that, we'll be grateful for whatever gifts we get, but we just, we do aim to break the 4,000 mark.
Her branch manager, Lucy Sylvester, says they hope to be able to give more presents than last year.
So last year we raised over 4,000 presents, so it's for the Dunedin region, but it also spreads out to outside of the Dunedin region where there's no Kmart. But this year we absolutely hope to smash that, and I'd be really happy with anything over 5,000.
The Salvation Army is the recipient charity, and David McKenzie says the initiative brings joy to many homes.
We see every day in our community ministries people who really struggle with life. There's a whole build-up to Christmas of expectation. It's good. There's a sense of family about it. There's that sense of gift giving, and for some people both the gift giving and the family stuff is lacking for various reasons.
Dunedin-based motorsport celebrity and the fastest woman in Australasia, Emma Gilmore, was asked to cut the cake. She took care on the straightaway and didn't cut any corners.
I feel really honoured to be asked to come down and open up the Kmart Wishing Tree Appeal. I think it's such an amazing idea, and that it gives so much back to the community, so I feel really honoured that I've been asked.
Organisers were at pains to remind potential donors that gifts don't necessarily have to come from the nearest retailers to the wishing tree. The tree is on the upper level at the Meridian Mall. Daryl Baser, The South Today.
That's all from us this week. You can go online and check us out on Facebook and Twitter, or you can keep up with Southern News via our website, channel39.co.nz. I'm Melissa Barton, and thanks for watching.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.